Rock him. Grenade!
What is EOMM, and is it a thing also in Modern Warfare 3? It's not so many months ago since I started to become aware of something called EOMM. Before that, I had mainly been following the discussion going on when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, meaning SBMM. So I guess this video can work in two ways. It's a bit of a pedagogic thing for me, since I'll most likely learn a bit more about EOMM when doing some research for the video. But also it might hopefully explain some for those of you that was like me some months ago, not really knowing or caring too much about what EOMM means, and furthermore what it does in a video game when you're playing. EOMM means an engagement optimized matchmaking framework. So it is a matchmaking system that prioritizes player engagement and retention over other factors such as skill level or connection quality. This model of matchmaking is used heavily in popular multiplayer games, including FIFA as an example. So when I started to read about this, I started also to wonder how EOMM works in conjunction with SBMM, for example in a game such as Call of Duty. Since SBMM tries to match you with players that has similar skill level or above at least most of the time. But if EOMM prioritizes player engagement and retention over some of the SBMM factors, doesn't that mean that these two factors or algorithms, if you will, work a bit against each other sometime? Or is it at a certain point in a match where one of the two is more dominant than the other? It's worth saying that even though SBMM is a thing in a game such as Modern Warfare 3, it is disputed as to whether or not EOMM exists in COD. It hasn't been confirmed and it's all based on conjecture, but some insiders have, in the past at least, lent on the idea of this engagement-driven engine existing in Call of Duty. It could linger beneath the surface, working to identify what makes a player tick and curating their session behind the scenes, getting the most out of the community player by player. So the whole idea from a developer point of view when it comes to implementing EOMM in their multiplayer game is that this algorithm-based mechanic manipulates matchmaking to keep a player engaged for as long as possible. What that might mean for you when you're playing is that EOMM identifies what players like and dislike, feeding them matches and opponents that are tailored to keep them playing, even when they usually want to quit the game. You might have had some games in a row where you have been doing bad, being punished, you might say, being at the lower level when it comes to the scoreboard, not doing that great. This is where EOMM might kick in, since it might identify this as your breaking point, meaning that you're about to close down the game and stop playing. But if you decide to try one more match before ending the gaming session, EOMM will then throw you into a lobby with easier opponents, which will of course increase your chances to have more fun overall, placing higher on the scoreboard, and maybe also a win for you and your team. If that happens, you might get encouraged, so you think, oh great, I'll then play even more before I quit for the day. But this is when you might get put back into the sweat and the grinder again, so the cycle has just started another round, you might say. Although EOMM makes sure that it's getting tweaked with each round. Hands up if you know what I'm talking about here, meaning having these kind of experiences when playing. I know that I have, at least. But it goes even further than this. There are claims circulating in the Call of Duty community, as an example, that EOMM impacts everything in the game, from hit registration to health generation, and from aim assist to movement speed. What this means or can do is, for example, if you have bad aim, problems shooting straight, EOMM might strengthen your aim assist, so it feels as if you're improving drastically, at least for one round. So you continue to play some more, which is the goal of having EOMM in the game. I've had moments when playing, for example, Modern Warfare 3, where I've landed a bunch of bullets into the opponent, but instead of getting the kill, I get dropped by the opponent just landing a few shots on me instead. That could, and I say could, be an example of EOMM kicking in order to help out the other guy so he doesn't leave the match when I show up. Because we know that there is a strong desire when it comes to keeping players engaged in their games, since it can also mean more money for them. People are having fun, they might therefore be more willing to open their wallets in the shop, buying a cool skin or a bundle. So with that said, I wouldn't be surprised if EOMM is present also in the newest Call of Duty title, meaning Modern Warfare 3. And if that's the case, I'm starting to wonder if some of the experiences that I've had in the game, and maybe you as well, are more to blame on EOMM than SBMM, meaning skill-based matchmaking. Well, either way, how keen are we to have this kind of an algorithm throwing us to the left and right when it comes to what kind of lobbies we're getting put into and what kind of almost predetermined gaming experiences we will get? Personally, I hate the thought of it, because if EOMM can do and are doing exactly what I have described here, also in a game such as Modern Warfare 3, then what am I playing for? For to win? Well, my chances might be super low in forehand already. If the EOMM algorithm has decided to put me into a lobby where someone that are shooting at me will have an advantage over me, since this guy was, let's say, doing bad 3 matches in a row before he got put into my lobby. If it's true, and if it has truly gone this far, I don't know really what to say. Because I want to know and feel that every time I join a game or lobby, doesn't matter what game it is, I want to know and feel once again that I am in charge. Sure, the SBMM might have put me in a lobby against sweaty players, but at least that's the only algorithm that is in play when the match starts. But if I also have to fight against enhanced aim assist when it comes to 1 or 2 players in the enemy team, and maybe also worse hit registration or health generation on my behalf, what does that tell me? And what does that knowledge give me when it comes to having an incentive, being willing to put time into a game that in some ways feels rigged? Again, it is not fully confirmed that EOMM is a thing in Modern Warfare 3, but I would not be surprised if that is the case, because it makes sense when I go back and, for example, check out some of the matches I've played during a 2-hour live stream, the few times I've been streaming Modern Warfare 3. It is for sure very different experiences during these 2 hours, varying from matches with good performance and the possibility to do well, and then straight up impossible to get some decent kills in the next one. Also, all of a sudden getting a bunch of hit markers as an example, or the fact that I bullet sponge a guy but he drops me in 2 or 3 bullets only. So with that said, you start to wonder, and as mentioned before, maybe EOMM is to blame the most when it comes to these very irregular and mixed gaming moments and experiences in a multiplayer shooter, also in a shooter such as Modern Warfare 3. We know that Activision has been working for about 10 years with skill-based matchmaking. So the question is, what about EOMM? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and maybe this is also why I do like to go back and play some older shooters once in a while, such as older COD games or free-to-play shooters such as Dirty Bomb, PlanetSide 2, etc. Sure, most games have 1 or 2 flaws, that goes without saying, but at least I can feel that I'm in charge most of the time that I start up the game. And it depends on my team and me, of course, also, if I will do well and if I will have a good time playing, not being pushed around and placed in certain lobbies or in a match due to a matchmaking algorithm such as EOMM. With that said, thanks a lot for watching, my friends, and have a beautiful day. Cheers.